Good morning, good Saturday morning. We are going to start this guided meditation with a poem, as we usually do. This one's from John Keats. This living hand, now warm and capable of earnest grasping, would, if it were cold and an icy silence of the tomb, so haunt thy days and chill thy dreaming nights, that thou would wish thine own heart dry of blood. So in my veins red life might stream again, and thou be conscious calmed. See, here it is, I hold it towards you. Welcome to the Premier Wellness Travel Meditation Sessions, where I offer space and support for you to breathe, to up your vibration, and to create connections. I'm Cassandra Marcella Metzger. I'm the founder of Premier Wellness Travel and a certified yoga therapist. And I'm here to guide you on the discovery of this very effective practice of meditation and, all the juiciness that it affords and brings into your life, especially during this difficult time. I think it's needed. So I've been doing these daily. This is a makeup class since I had a conflict on Wednesday, but typically I'm here every weekday at 10 a.m. to inspire you and to create possibility for groundedness and routine and for kindness and compassion, especially self-compassion. And today I'm continuing a series on the yamas and niyamas. Today is the 5th day, so there are 5 of each, 5 yamas, 5 niyamas. Again, the yamas are rules for discipline on how you move in the world, and niyamas are generally about how you treat yourself. Although they're classically divided that way, they really do sort of overlap. And today we're talking about the 5th and last, called Aparigraha. This means literally not hoarding or collecting, sort of like being free from clutter. Again, this is thousands of years old, so pre-Marie Kondo. This was one of the things that Patanjali laid out in the Yoga Sutras as something necessary in order to live the fullest life. And it's sort of related to the first one, which, as you may recall from Monday, is ahimsa. They both begin with A because it's the A stands for the opposite of. So ahimsa means not violence. Aparigraha means not hoarding or not stealing. Not stealing being ahimsa. So, and it's really just sort of maybe another aspect of not stealing. Just as one shouldn't take what has not been given leave to take, one also should not collect things that one does not really need or require. Iyengar calls it, says that it really comes from a poverty of spirit, which I think is a fancy way of saying that we collect or hoard when we feel lack or we ourselves feel lacking. And it can indicate a state of fear or a lack of confidence in the future. So, for the yogi, what does this mean? It means creating a life and a home as simple as possible. And a yogi will train his or her mind to not feel the lack or loss of anything, and have confidence that everything he or she truly needs will come back to you in its right time, when you really need it. Some philosophers actually also expand this yama to include not grasping at our self-image and to therefore allow room for ourselves and for others to change and grow. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started today. I've got a series of questions for us to contemplate as we meditate. I want you to go ahead and take your seated posture, sit up tall, and go ahead and close your eyes. Take a couple of deep cleansing breaths, deep into your belly. Inhaling again, and exhaling. And exhaling. So how can you make your life simpler? Or what are you afraid of if you do? Does empty space in your home or in your schedule even unsettle you? Or make you feel spacious? If you pardon the pun. Just contemplate what openness and space and emptiness and voids, what does that bring up for you? How does that make you feel? And exhale. Consider how your use of things are used to reinforce your sense of yourself, maybe your sense of identity. This can be particularly true with our clothes in our closet. It can be hard of letting go certain clothes or things because of how they represent us. They protect us in terms of how we move through the world. And not just literally clothes, but all of our belongings work to create a sense of identity. And who would you be without that? That's what this yama asks. Maybe it's a youthful identity that you're clinging to because you have a fear of growing old. Maybe it's your identity as a professional who does not work from home. So you have lots of suits and blazers and blouses in your closet. And those represent you as a professional woman or a professional man. Or perhaps you're grasping and are possessive of a partner because having them in your life reinforces your identity as a wife or a spouse or a significant other. So this is not just about possession of things, but also the way we sometimes feel we own other people or possess other people. Perhaps, too, you may be grasping at your identity as a mom or a dad, a grandmother or a grandfather, by involving yourself in the lives of your children or grandchildren. Because without the identity of being a mom or being a dad scares you, because you've devoted so much energy and time to that identity. Who would you be without that? Got a lot of investment. Same thing with clothes or our belongings. We feel we've got a lot of sunk costs, so to speak. So that can make it very hard to let go of things and to have people in our lives without that sense of attachment. And we often build our sense of identity and our self-images in order to feed our need for certainty as well. It's not just sunk cost and time and energy that we've devoted to creating these things, but also moving forward, that it creates a sense of confidence and a sense of security. And if this pandemic that we're all living through right now has taught us anything, it's taught us brutally how all of that is really an illusion. And that can be scary. That everything could fall away. That the only thing that's permanent is impermanence. And for me, a meditation practice helps to sit with that, literally. Nothing is permanent anyway. And again, that may feel very scary, but I think we can also be grateful for that lesson and cultivate a sense of gratitude, because our lives can be so much easier and less painful with that intimate understanding. With that lesson. Same thing like if a hurricane were coming. You could only take with you what you could fit in your car. Everything else might get blown away. So what can you release as a result of knowing that? How can you relax and have confidence in the future that you will have what you need when you need it? And how does that make it easier for you to give up control? What would you like to give up control over? How could you use that energy somewhere else? Now there's one last aspect of this yama I want to bring up and sort of meditate on for you. And that is this. Ask yourself what barriers or fences that you've erected to keep yourself feeling safe that may be preventing you from growing, from being stronger, from being more resilient and more nimble. The resistance to change and tenaciously holding on to things and to our images, our sense of ourselves, can cause great suffering because it can prevent us from growing and from living a life that is full and robust and vital and pleasurable. You know, we do yoga in our bodies to keep it nimble and juicy. And this is about keeping our spirit and our mind and our lives nimble and juicy. And by not hoarding and not collecting things, and by having confidence that everything we will need will come to us in the future, we can grow and just come into a more fuller expression of ourselves, not one that's frozen. Again, and also not top down, but from the inward out. So just ask, how can you trust more? How can you relax more? And how can you open more for growth? Because by releasing the earnest and grasping hand that John Keats spoke of in his poem, we can become more fully alive and not that frozen one reaching from the tomb of our self-image. And instead of the hands reaching, you can put your hands on your heart and just know that everything's going to be okay. Go ahead and open your eyes. And thank you for watching this week. I just wanted to remind you again of two of my well-worn books. This is Yoga, Body, Spirit, Mind by Donna Farhi, who I did a class with, a couple of retreats back 18 years ago. I love all her books. She's got 4 books, I think. And then, of course, the classic Bible, Light on Yoga, which I think was written in the 50s, talking about decluttering, by the way, folks. So this isn't just like a trendy trend. I'm planning on spending my afternoon doing some decluttering, anti-hoarding, Aparigraha, and I wish you a beautiful Memorial Day weekend. I will be back here on Monday, I think. Maybe I'll take Monday off. We'll see. But next week we'll be covering the niyamas. And I look forward to talking about those and teaching you about those and seeing you next week. Thank you for showing up live, Kristen and Christoph. Namaste.